Bienvenidos a Historias y Huellas. Les saluda Ana Mariela Rivera. Today, I am so delighted to introduce a guest that probably doesn't need a lot of introduction. So I'll let him tell us a little bit about the roles that he has in the community. But today I have the honor of having hopefully a beautiful conversation with Keith Ellison. Keith is our Attorney General. Keith, welcome. I am so delighted that you are here today. I thank you for investing your, I understand, limited time. Thank you so much for the generosity to be here today.
What a pleasure to be here. I'm just so glad to be here.
I am
In fact,
too.
Before the show started, you and I were having an interesting conversation. Yeah, we
Yes.
We were. And I think you're right. Everybody has a story. Mm-hmm. So many of us, you see folks doing this and doing that and standing for this or standing for that. But your question before the show started was, well, why? Mm-hmm. How did you get there? Mm-hmm. And I think it's very worthy to do that. So thank you.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm delighted. And so here at Historias y Huellas, we always start the conversation kind of reflecting a little bit about our past. You know, what is your origin story? What are some of those memories maybe that you have, or perhaps what was that context like? The context of your childhood, those formative years, that community, that family that you were part of. What can you tell us about that part of your story, where it kind of started?
Well, I was born into a moment in time of great change in the United States. 1963. 1963 was a time when America was emerging from Jim Crow segregation. So I never experienced that, but I was born into it. And both of my parents were. And so my mother is from a place called Natchitoches, Louisiana.
In Louisiana?
Yeah.
Okay.
And her father was a man named Frank Martinez, and he was a civil rights leader and activist. He also was a mechanic and a farmer. And but he was active with the NAACP, you know. And he
what was can you
say the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. It was a civil rights organization
at the time,
like La Raza. It exists today,
so okay,
but it's a similar organization. But it was that was a time when in the United States in the 1950s, if you were black, you could not sit wherever you want to sit on the bus. You couldn't drink from any fountain. And what did it mean to be black? We had one drop rule in America. You know what I mean by that? If you had one drop of African descent,
that made you're
black.
African.
Period. And it didn't matter what you looked like. Right? And so Frank Martinez, he was active. He was organizing voters to vote with his organization. And the KKK, you heard of them? They said, do not sell him any gasoline. No gasoline owners will sell him gas. He had to put tractor fuel in his car.
Wow.
They called the house and threatened to blow up the house so much that my mother ended up having to go to a boarding school in Lafayette, Louisiana.
Wow.
And and he died in a tractor accident in 1958. And you know, but he lived a life of service. You know, he's an educator, and so was my grandmother
as well.
Yeah, and I grew up with my grandmother. Yeah, her name was Doris Balthazar Martinez, and she
Martinez.
Yeah.
Where is that? Where does that last name come from?
Well, you know, Louisiana, we think of it as a French place. Not really. It's more. It's Spanish too.
That's
so, like, you know, France colonized that part of of what we know as the United States today. But then in like the 1760s, it became a Spanish place.
Wow.
And it was that till 1803, till the United States did the purchase from Napoleon, right? You know, and so my family, you know, came over there. I know for a fact and know the name of my ancestor, Manuel Martinez, who came from Sevilla.
Wow.
Yeah. And he and when me and my wife were in Spain, we went through there, but we couldn't find any evidence of it, but we had some.
You tried. Did you try to like track it a little bit? That's so interesting.
A little bit, but we had some paella in his honor.
Oh, that's wonderful. That is wonderful.
Yeah, so they went on through, and so there was Manuel Martinez, Jorge George Martinez, then my father, then my grandfather.
Wow.
And so then my mom, then me. So we do have that, and Louisiana's like that, right? Mm-hmm. Louisiana is a place where you have people
from
of all
over.
kinds interacting, African, mm-hmm. indigenous to there, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. and then people from not just Spain and France, but also England and Europe and other parts of the world too. There's a city called Germantown. So there's a little bit of everything there, and it's unique culturally that way. Beautiful. But my dad was born in Detroit, but he was from a place called Sardis, Georgia, mm-hmm. rural Georgia. Mm-hmm. It's in the Savannah area, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. and they moved to Detroit, Michigan, because of the auto plants that were there. So from Louisiana to Michigan? From Louisiana and Georgia to Michigan. And that's so. Where did you grow up? Those in Detroit. In Detroit. Yeah, mm-hmm. In Detroit, and but Detroit is a city is an interesting town, because my father grew up in a city in the city of Detroit where they had very harsh segregation. Mm. And they called the place he lived called Black Bottom. Mm. Now, it didn't start out, it's not, the Black Bottom's not because of the people, it's because of the soil. Huh. And that's how they first of all called it Black Bottom. Uh-huh. But then as years went by, that's who occupied Black Bottom. Now, these people were coming from something called the Great Migration. You ever heard of this concept? Yes, I have. So, like 95% of all people of African descent before 1920, mm-hmm. They were in the South, mm-hmm. and came mm-hmm. north because of fleeing segregation and looking for industrial employment, which paid much better. And so people on the East Coast, like if you were living in Boston mm-hmm. or New York, your ancestors probably came from Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina. Right. And if you were in the Midwest, they probably came from Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. Wow. And if you're in California, they probably came from Louisiana or Texas. Gotcha. And if there's a book called The Warmth of Other Suns, The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkerson. Mm-hmm. And so this is a very important mm-hmm. story. And, and so that's sort of my origin story is that America was transferring from a Jim Crow America mm-hmm. to a multicultural America. Mm-hmm. That's when I was born. That's when you were born. Yeah. So what were those first years like for you in Detroit? Very segregated area growing up still. But in transition, though. In transition. We had white neighbors. You did. Whereas within a few years, they were all gone, right? And now they're coming back, So it was a wave of mm-hmm. transition. Mm-hmm. It was interesting. There's a term called deindustrialization, mm-hmm. and Detroit was one of the most industrial cities in America, mm-hmm. and yet when I was growing up, factories were closing. They were moving to other countries. Mm-hmm. A lot of unemployment of former factory workers was mm-hmm. prevalent. Mm-hmm. When I got to be around 18, I worked for a city council member, mm-hmm. and my job. This is in Detroit? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was going to Wayne State University. Mm-hmm. My job was to go to all of the factories and talk to all of the displaced workers mm-hmm. to try to understand what the impact of a plant closing was on them. Mm-hmm. So mm-hmm. I went and I talked to these folks mm-hmm. and picked up a lot of stories from them and mm-hmm. shared that with the mm-hmm. council member mm-hmm. and as factories were closing, poverty was rising, mm-hmm. unemployment was rising, mm-hmm. and desperate conduct was starting to prevail, as often happens in those what sort of conditions. That, yes. Yeah. And so I have four brothers. Four brothers. Two older. Are you what placement do you have in that? I'm order? The middle. You're the middle child. Two older, two younger. And you're right in the middle. Yeah. Yep. In the
What
middle,
was that? What was that like? Like being a middle child? You know, there are all kinds of like studies and theories about what that is like and what children are like.
Yeah.
How much of that you've heard you think maybe connects to your own experience and maybe what's different?
Well, you got to learn how to get along. You got to learn how to get along. So if you're a middle child, you're both a younger brother and an older brother.
It depends which angle you look at,
Right.
who you're with.
So my two older brothers, you know, they had to take me along when my parents were busy, and I had to take my younger brothers along when they were busy. So as a middle child, you never get to be the target of everybody's love, affection, and care because you got work to do.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you also have to show responsibility. Like older children are very responsible. Like my wife, she's the oldest child, very responsible person. And younger children, they sort of like everybody's looking out for them.
Yes.
But but when you're in the middle, you got to be both, right?
Yeah.
So I think that
So maybe that was part of what shaped
maybe.
that
I think so.
responsibility, sense of taking responsibility.
Right.
For others maybe, and for yourself too.
A little bit, you know,
Right.
and me and my brothers are all close still, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, my oldest brother is Leonard. He's a physician in Detroit.
They're still there?
My two older brothers are there.
Are there?
My other brother's a lawyer, and he's a Baptist minister. And then my two younger brothers they're both lawyers, but one's in Boston, one's in North Carolina.
Yeah. So when you think about that young Keith, right?
Yeah.
Growing up in your family, being the middle child, going to school.
Right.
What was that vision of the world you had there, and what were some of those dreams maybe that you had as a young boy, as a young growing guy?
This is a very good question because my parents were very different people.
How so?
Well, my father grew up in Detroit, Michigan, segregated Detroit, and he had a hard edge on him. He was a person who was able to find some success in life by being tough.
Being tough.
He
had to.
Right, he had to. My mother, on the other hand, she was a country girl, grew up on a farm, and had a certain sense of purpose and belonging and confidence, quiet confidence. Not braggadocio confidence, but just I am certain of what I'm certain of.
Lovely.
You know?
Lovely.
And she was that person. So she was sort of the caring person and was a wonderful mom for us. And we lost her during the COVID.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And
to
it was
hear.
a tough moment because
Oh,
my
gosh,
mother
especially at that
she was a
time.
wonderful parent, you know. My dad was too, and they were able to they stayed together the whole time. And we grew up in that household. So yeah, my father was a person who was do the right thing the right way when you're supposed to. He was about discipline, and my mom was about here, honey,
Nurturance.
have a little extra, whatever. You know what I mean?
But in that way, maybe there was a good balance.
There was a good balance.
Expectations were high,
Yep.
and were clear, and they had to be met.
They did.
But
Yes.
also with mom, there was more nurturance and affection, maybe
Yeah,
softness, tenderness.
She was that person. She really was. She was. My mother was she loved to cook, and you can go on YouTube today
Really?
and watch her cook. Yeah.
I have to do that. I love cooking too.
Yeah. She's so we were talking about my mother's background, and there's a whole table associated. There's a kitchen associated with that. It's called Creole cooking,
I love that.
and it's things like gumbo, etouffee, shrimp Creole. It's desserts like pralines.
Oh, yes.
And it's it's when people associate it with New Orleans.
Yeah.
But my mother's from a town 4 hours north of New Orleans called Natchitoches, which is a very Creole town, and is the oldest city in the Louisiana Purchase, and is older than New Orleans.
This city that your mom grew up in.
Yes, and so she soaked up all of the recipes and all of the fresh ingredients, and she really cooked a lot. Mo Rocca is a guy who has a show called My Grandmother's Ravioli.
Wow.
And he goes to all these grandmas and cooks with them. And my mom was on that show, and
I love that.
and she's that was kind of who she was.
So
And
she was a great cook. I'm thinking about like the person in your household that gave that sustenance, not
Right.
only like emotionally and
she
affectionate.
passed out the hugs, right? She also was a social worker.
Was she?
She was. My mother was a social worker.
Colleague of mine.
Yeah, well, so my mom used to do juvenile sex offender group.
That's a population that very few social workers even want to sometimes work with.
She worked with them for 20 years. And she had these kids, they didn't necessarily do anything violent, but they acted out in an inappropriate way, which caught the attention of the juvenile court. And so these kids would have to go to her groups.
So it was prevention, maybe.
Right. You know, good touch, bad touch.
Yeah.
This sort of teaching them one-on-one with the parents, with the family. And her rate of recidivism was very low, very low.
Wow.
And whenever she said my kids, me and my brothers were like, you talking about us or them other kids? You know?
So if you had to say in a few words, Keith, what do you think are some of the traits that you carry maybe from your father, and maybe what are some of the traits or aspirations even that you carry from your mother that you try to like live by or integrate honor in your own life?
Yeah, we all are, to a certain extent, captives of who raised us, isn't
Very
it?
much true.
So my father taught me to never back down and to fight for what you believe in. And to
He was a fighter.
yeah, and to tell the truth even if it's going to hurt you.
Okay.
And my mother taught me, give people a break. You're flawed, so others are too, and try to have some understanding.
Yeah.
You know,
Compassion,
some
empathy.
compassion.
Be
Try to have
curious.
be curious.
Why would people do something
Right.
that
Right.
may be hurtful?
Yeah, and
oh my
and-
gosh, those are two very important, I guess, orientations.
Yeah.
Both of them, and so you come from very strong and wise people. It sounds like.
Well, I have to say you're right.
Yeah.
You know, and neither one of them arrived at those points of view the easy way. You know, they learned it. They learned it. They were taught it, and they learned it. And for my father, the lessons of my father have served me well in politics because
absolutely.
the challenges are great, and people are always. I mean, it is sort of a fight, you know, and if you're not up for it, you can't do it. You know?
Right. And so that reminds me of another question I have, which is something that I am thinking more about, especially at this season of my life. And that is, you know, what certain roles or jobs that we carry with passion and love.
Right.
But what do they do to our nervous system?
Yeah.
And you mentioned this sort of like need to be on guard,
Right.
to be able to fight in a way.
Yeah.
And that may be necessary and part of what you do. No? I am wondering about how do you balance that
Right.
in your nervous system? What are some of the practices? What are some of the what are some of the ways in which you try to cultivate peace?
This is an excellent question. And by the way, did I hear you say you're a social worker?
I am.
I love social workers.
I love social workers too.
Just like as a group, just like all social workers going to heaven.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I don't know about that, Keith.
Well, most anyway. A large portion.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, so I'm a praying person. I'm a believing person, and I believe it is important to slow down and commune with divine creation, right? and I don't impose my faith on anyone. I believe in people seeking the divine in the way that comes to them, right? So you'll never hear me say this is the only way to be in communion with God, but I pray, and I go to the mosque, and I try to read things about spirituality and meaning and depth and inspiration. I also like to work out,
What do you do for a workout?
Well, I usually go to a gym. I like to ride my bike. I love that. And the beauty of the riding your bicycle is that you can go see things. You can go see the river, go see the forest, go see the parks, and you can move your body all at once.
Transport, right? It's
Right.
a way of transportation, but also you get a great workout.
Yeah, and you get to see great scenery,
Yeah.
right?
And
as-
physical movement,
Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
is so important to regulate that nervous system.
Is it? Now, what about
So
seeing
important.
things like in nature? Is that helpful?
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's a
Is
good
that
one.
something you do?
I love doing it.
You do?
Yeah.
How? Do you like going on walks, hiking?
Those things are things I love.
Swimming? What do you do?
I used to be a lifeguard as a kid, and I swam competitively.
Really?
Yeah, but I have not been in a pool in about 2 years. I think the
Why
last
is
time
that?
I don't know. It's just right across the street from my house. I got a great gym with a great pool, but I don't want to swim. I usually just do work on the weights or the treadmills or stuff like that. And but then again, my favorite thing is to ride that bicycle and go on walks. Another thing I love to do. And when my knee doesn't hurt, I like to jog too.
You like to jog.
Yeah, and because again, and I like to do it outside, and I even like to do it in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Because there's a beauty to winter.
Oh, so much. Now that you mentioned that, I've been here for 20 years or something. I have lost count, but about 20 years. And the first, I would say, 13 years, I resisted every winter. I complained. I hated it. Every winter I would ask my husband, what are we doing here? Because our families are
end up
both
here?
in Florida.
Right.
And we don't have extended family here. And, it's cold and isolating sometimes. And anyway, every winter I will have like a crisis. And I would want to go back or go somewhere warm, anywhere. And running, jogging, because I'm not a fast runner, but like jogging outside in the winter time really changed my relationship to winter.
That is
here.
great.
And that was really
love
profoundly
that.
shifting for me.
I love it. And I'm going to tell you something else about winter. There's something about the leaves going from, like the leaves the branches are bare. There's nothing.
No greenery, yeah.
And then the green buds come.
Poquito.
Un poquito. Yeah, and then bigger, and then big green leaves. Then they start turning color. And now they're like red, fire red.
Beautiful.
We got a tree outside of our house. It looks like it's on fire. It's
Right.
a
So
red
beautiful.
leaves. And then they're going to fall off again. And there's something about that cycle that teaches you something if you're willing to
Oh,
listen.
yes.
Oh,
yes.
And this is a reason for hope.
Yes.
And it's a reason to say, hey, the green leaves are coming again.
Yeah.
And it's also, you can appreciate that cycle and always know that in the depth of winter, it's going to be spring again,
Nothing is forever.
Nothing.
Everything is cyclical, right? And there is renewal in every season
Right.
that we go through. And I think that, yes, being outside in nature allows you to see and be able to be aware of those things that if you're not, nature, you don't see that in nature.
If you plow through the seasons and don't see and don't notice
that's what I was doing. That was exactly what I was doing. I was flowing through. I was not connecting
Right.
and having a relationship with what was going on.
Well, that's a great lesson
Yes, it is.
for all of us.
Yeah, yeah. So, Keith, I know that you have developed a closer connection, perhaps, with the Latinx community.
Absolutely.
And through your travels, I know that you visited and traveled to many countries in Latin America. Also, your relationship with Monica, I'm sure
the love of my life
that,
is
right?
from Latin America.
So Monica is from Colombia, and so
And she wants you to know she's a paisa from Medellin.
Paisa.
Very,
Ella es paisa.
yeah,
Yes,
very,
yes.
very
She's.
proud
I
of
know. I love and know Monica. I won't tell you much about our relationship because it comes from like a really long time ago. But I love Monica, and I think you have a great. You've chosen a magnificent woman to be your partner. So tell me a little bit about your relationship, right? To that growing connection that you've developed over time with Latin America, with the Latinx community. How did that come about, and what does it mean to you personally?
Well, I've always had wonderful affinity for the Latina community because, look, in some ways, the Americas are a colonial project. From Canada to Patagonia, everywhere in between. Most people in the Americas speak Spanish, the majority, not English. So many great gifts from the Spanish-speaking world we benefit from here in the United States. And in some ways, these borders are shifting and always have. Up until 1841, Mexico went all the way up to Nevada, Colorado, Utah, California, Texas.
That was Mexican territory.
Right.
Yes.
So where does Latin America start and the English-speaking America begin? Well, they clearly overlap. It's somebody was making a big deal out of Bad Bunny being a Super Bowl.
I was just thinking about Bad Bunny for some reason as we were talking.
Well, here's an interesting thing. Anyone who says that it's not appropriate for this Spanish-speaking man to perform at the Super Bowl does not understand the fact that Bad Bunny is as an American or U.S. citizen as anyone born that way. Yeah. He's more American than Melania Trump is, right? And so he has every right to speak his mother tongue and express himself. I mean, salsa music is American music, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, in everything, and so is reggaeton and all of that. So in my view, these linguistic and cultural differences are the spice of life. They make our lives more interesting. They're not walls. They shouldn't be walls. They should be invitations. You know what I mean? Learn more about somebody who lives different from you, right? And so the division, I don't really see the division.
So has that been like for you? I mean, in the sense that, like, being immersed in a different culture than yours, because the Latino culture.
How different? I mean, my mother grew up in a multicultural society, heavily influenced by Spain, France.
So not too different.
And to me, it's not too different. I mean, if you eat jambalaya, it's pretty much like paella.
I see.
Right. And there's a lot of similarities there. And so
and maybe some shared history
certainly shared history.
Both in our countries of origin,
right.
But also in the experience of being here in North America, in the United States.
Yeah, so like English is a language from England, right? That's all the way over the other side of the ocean. No further than Spain. Same, right? So why are you feel more close to that, which isn't really yours, than you do the other thing?
You know what this is making me think of? I love and admire Guillermo del Toro. He's a Mexican
the
director.
Best. I love this guy.
No.
He is the greatest.
He's a genius.
As a matter of fact, me and Moni went to his exhibit at the Minneapolis Institute of Art a few years ago.
I didn't go, but it was
great.
Amazing. Anyway, he was receiving an Oscar or some sort of, like, what do you call these things?
Oscar?
exactly.
He deserves one. I don't know if he got
for
one,
sure.
but he deserves one.
He has, yeah. But he was when he was giving a little bit of a speech. He said, I grew up watching foreign movies, and that was really formative for me.
Right.
And then he goes on to name the movies like E.T., like all these all these American films.
Right.
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 And that was like a paradigm shift right there and then, right? Because the majority of the world has experienced that, but people from the United States may have a different relationship to what it means to consume something from a foreign country.
Well,
right?
the founders of this country were well aware of they had the right to make English the American language. They rejected that. They considered it and said, we will not do that. Why? Because they knew that all kinds of people are going to be, U.S. residents of the United States from various places in the world. And again, English is not more widely spoken in the Americas than Spanish.
No.
It's less widely spoken. Basically, you got the United States, Canada, Jamaica, maybe a few others, and then maybe Guyana, and after that it's Spanish or maybe Portuguese, and maybe even a little bit of Dutch, in there. So this idea that we're going to be exclusive and only this it was an idea that was considered and rejected. Very important to keep that in mind.
Especially given the times that we're going through right now.
Yeah, but on Guillermo del Toro, my favorite movie of his
Which one is it?
Pan's Labyrinth.
Es hermosa.
Which is beautiful.
It's beautiful.
And the story is beautiful. And the story is also very current.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's about the Franco Spanish.
Especially now.
Yeah,
today.
well, dictatorship, yeah.
Yes, especially today. I think I watched that movie probably 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was a different time.
Yeah.
I have to watch it again. Because every time you watch a movie, especially when you contrast with what we are experiencing, what's happening in your life, like the environment, it takes a different meaning.
Speaks to you a little different.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true.
We just watched I don't know if you've seen the movie, The Shape of Water.
Beautiful.
So beautiful,
Love
but
it.
also political.
Yeah.
Very
deeply.
political. And if you see the themes, right, in the different characters that beautiful. Anyway, I don't know how we got into film.
But I tell you though, if you want to talk a little bit about the current situation, I mean, it is important to understand that there is this impulse within human beings to monopolize power, which includes violence, which includes exclusion, othering of people. And clearly, this is something that we're seeing all around us nowadays. The tripling of immigration customs enforcement, and then just turning them on Americans. And then there was all on false pretenses. They said, we're going to get the ones who commit crimes. Now it's anybody. Now it's everybody.
86%, I was reading somewhere, 86% of people who are detained by ICE do not have any sort of criminal record.
And now there's a percentage of people who are U.S. citizens
who are being detained.
Yeah. So if you speak Spanish with an accent, speak English with an accent. If you speak Spanish.
If you're brown.
If
you look Hispanic.
Right.
Or low jobs or low class or something.
If you look like you work, with your hands, perhaps. And what does that even mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. All this is ridiculous stuff, but it's true stereotyping, right?
But now it's
But now you have to live in fear. You have to live. And now as Attorney General, as Fiscal General de Estado de Minnesota, I am standing against this.
I know that.
I'm 100% opposed to it, and I will use every legal means to stand up for people. And that means standing up for people's rights, going to court for people. Just this weekend, We had to sue Trump last week over this supplemental nutrition assistance program, SNAP food stamps. We beat him. We beat him in court again, and people are going to be able to get their food. But this is just one of the many. He tried to say that if you want federal emergency disaster relief, then you have to convert your police in Minnesota into ICE agents. And we were like, we will not do this. No. And I am standing forthright and opposed to it. I'm deeply offended by it. And it is immoral and wrong. And I got to tell you, a lot of us wonder what we would do if we were in the middle of a authoritarian society. Left wing or right wing, either one. Anytime government says you're going to do what I say or we're going to crush you, that's the thing. And we ask ourselves, what would we do if we were in that situation? Well, we are in that situation
right now.
And I want to say thank you to independent media to get the word out. But I'm not independent media, but I'm going to do my part.
Yeah,
as
we
a
all
lawyer.
have a part.
We all have
right?
a part.
We all have
a part. And you just talking about people's lives, bringing real color and texture to their lives, meaning to their lives, and helping them relate to others who say, like, hey, that person's like me. I need to stand up for them. This is the moment we're in.
Yeah, we are. And so public service, right, has its own, I guess, rhythm.
Yeah.
Of challenge, maybe joy, perhaps transformation.
All that.
Right? I'm curious about your unique rhythm.
Sure.
Or your understanding, or what has been that internalization of what it means to be a public servant for you.
Well, I've had many opportunities to go out and try to just make money, and I don't have any problem with people making money. I, would like to one day leave the public sector and just go make some money.
Make some money. Real money.
I'm not against it. It's nothing wrong with it. As long as it's honest, truthful, you don't take advantage of anyone, you give them a good service or product, in return you get compensated. I'm not against that. Having said that, I've turned those opportunities down because I'm attracted to public service.
Why is that? How?
I don't know. I just feel like it is important to be of service. We're all here for a limited amount of time. My father lived till 96. My mother lived to 82. So if trends continue, maybe I'll be around for a while, right? But the bottom line is, it's all a limitation. Everybody's going out of here at some point.
Oh, for sure.
And
we all have an expiration date.
We do.
Just don't know when.
Right. But I mean, do you really want your life to be, he just stacked up about a lot of dollars and had luxury items? I don't know if that's a life well lived for me.
For you.
For me, I need to be able to go to my end, having been of service, having helped people meet their needs, live with dignity, safety, and respect, help people afford their lives, and stood up for their rights, and stood up against tyrants, stood up against tyrants and dictators, said no to them. That's how I have to do my thing. That's
important to you.
I know no other way. I know no other way, and I don't judge others who don't do that. I do judge others who hurt other people to get gain for themselves. I am condemning of that behavior. But if you're not bothering nobody and you're just trying to do your little thing, fine. I'm cool with that. But for me, I just feel like it's deeply disturbing to see
to your bones,
to my bones, to see a bunch of masked men grabbing some
people,
brown-skinned woman with black hair. She's screaming out in Spanglish, "Look after my kids," as they're dragging her away. I'm like, that cannot be right. That can't be right. That's wrong. And you could look on YouTube and see it all over the place. And I just can't imagine how the people who are implementing this program sleep at night. And I was in Congress with Kristi Noem. I know her personally. If she saw me, she'd say, "Hi, Keith," and I'd say the same. So the person I thought I always knew she was conservative, which I'm also fine with. But I mean, using the instrument of the state to oppress people, I cannot imagine how that's decent to do. And then on back to the SNAP stuff with the food stamps, these guys are up on TV saying, "Oh, President Trump has no choice. He has no choice. He has no choice. He can't issue any more SNAP benefits. Sorry, Democrats have to come and vote to authorize this." And well, if that's true, how did we win in court the other day? If he's telling the truth, why did 2 judges say that's not right? Start paying them, you know? And so this is the moment we're in right now.
That's right.
No hiding. This is a moment of moral clarity. You are with dictatorship and coercion and force and illegality, or you're with truth, honesty, and treating people decently. That's it. And everybody's got to make a choice right now.
Yeah. So at a time like this, right? At the time that you're describing and that we are currently going through, how do you sustain hope for yourself? How do you sustain,
This is an excellent question, because I guarantee you there's people in the U.S. who left everything, language, culture, family, loved ones. Maybe they walked through the Darien Gap, which separates Colombia and Panama. And maybe they have
crossed the border.
And they've left everything, and they've left everyone, and they did it only because they had to find some way to feed their families. I think they took more courage than I did. I think they sustained. I think if they can do what they did, I've got to be at least. I mean, look, I got clean clothes and a roof over my head. I got to do what I can do, right? And even my own family. I can't imagine Frank Martinez getting a telephone call. You know, we're gonna kill you if you keep it up. Or my grandmother Doris getting a call. We got that N-word tied it to a tree. He ain't coming home. You better tell him to knock it off. So now I'm going to chicken out. Frank Martinez's son can't be no coward. So I'm going to stand up and do what I got to do.
So that's where that you draw that strength and that hope.
I think
it's
so.
From the people who have come before you.
Yes.
And the stories that you know of strength, of survival, resolution, resolve.
Yeah.
To continue. And to grapple and to deal with very adverse circumstances.
Well, I mean, in a way,
they didn't succumb.
Right. And what other choice we got, right? Because if you cooperate with a tyrannical leader, that doesn't necessarily save you, right? They might come after you anyway, right? So, University of Minnesota, I mean, and I'm just speaking truth here. Trump says, get rid of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Get rid of this, get rid of that. And they're like, okay, boss. And he still is investigating them for specious, ridiculous things. And so being just giving in to the dictator does not save you. If you sign up with the dictator, it might help you for a little bit. But then you have to sign away your moral fiber. Then you have to sign away.
Which we have seen.
We've seen
a lot in different institutions and organizations and
some law
corporations.
With some law firms, the first thing they did is Trump said, we're going to sue you. We're going to deny you a security clearance. We're going to do all this stuff unless you do it my way.
And they did.
And then some other law firms like Jenner and Block, Perkins Coie, led by courageous people went to court, and the court ruled they have a First Amendment right to represent whoever they want. They have a constitutional right to represent their clients, whoever they may be. You cannot punish a lawyer for the clients that they represent, or else people don't have a fair right to representation. And in this country, you're supposed to have a right to representation. So those people sold themselves out.
But they went the hard way, the long way, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. But the people who stood firm, they won out.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes you can stand up for the right cause and not win.
That's true.
That is true.
That's true.
John the Baptist. Remember, he lost his head. He was a saint. He was a prophet, and he didn't win, but he won in the most profound way. He won in the way that it's important to win. He lived with it. He went to his grave where we're all gonna go with his values intact. So that's important too.
That is.
That's important too. So yeah, I mean, I just hope the folks who listen to your show know that if they need our help, they should call us. Can I give them a number?
Yes, please. And this is maybe a good time for you to speak to our audience about our Latino audience in particular. What message do you have? What would you like to share at this moment of distress, despair, and persecution? What would you want to say?
Sí, llámame si necesita ayuda. Llámame a 651-296-3353 a la Fiscal General Estado de Minnesota. Estamos aquí ayúdate.
Para ayudarles.
Para ayudarles, sí.
Okay, great. And so this other question I had so many questions, I have to say, and probably didn't get to ask any of the questions that I had prepared, but it's okay because I really truly believe in the importance of being immersed in a conversation that is authentic,
yes,
and that is led by organically.
Yeah.
So but I guess I would like to ask this question. I am currently doing a policy fellowship at the Humphrey.
Great.
And as part of that experience, right, we have to come up or perhaps introduce a topic, a problem that we see in our community that we want to do our project on.
Sure.
That addresses a problem or a situation, something we see that in our community
needs attention.
That needs attention, exactly. And it doesn't have to be a policy project.
Right.
And I have a hard time thinking about a policy because that's not the way my mind's trained to think, but I'm trying to learn. So I am wondering if you were a learner and a student in this case, like I am,
sure,
what issue do you think you want to focus on? What problem right now would you want to help change? Well, if you were a student, if you were a learner.
Right. Well, I mean, I got to make a few confessions.
Okay.
I am an economics nerd. I look at economic data all the time.
All the time.
So I'm going to start there.
Okay.
And what is the biggest economic challenge for working people? It is housing. And so and one of the problems in housing, I believe, is that after the 2008 foreclosure crisis, a lot of big hedge funds and private equity firms bought up residential housing and then raised prices on it.
Yeah.
In fact, I had to sue one of them involving Havenbrook Homes. We kicked them out of the state of Minnesota. Wow. They had to sell off 600 units and put those units back on the market, which I believe has some beneficial effect on lowering prices for housing. I would study how to make housing more affordable for more people. That's what I would think about. And I think given your background in social work, can you make a cake without a bowl? Can you raise a family without a home? It's hard, right? And so tackling this problem would be a big one. Another one related to it is just wages and pay. And one of the things that Minnesotans may not know is that thousands of workers get paid less than they're promised. So that's why we started a anti-wage theft unit. And we're fine, and we're so busy. We got way more cases than we can do. And I'm gonna tell you, a lot of Spanish-speaking people are victims here.
Oh, absolutely. I would think that probably main targets. What policy
Well, you could
would you?
what? So the thing is, there's two ways to solve. There's a lot of ways to solve any problem, but sometimes you want to work on a policy that incentivizes good behavior, and sometimes you got to have a policy that punishes bad behavior. You know, so one policy that I was thinking of that is worth really digging into is, manufactured housing, like trailer park. This is a good alternative to affordable housing if it's well maintained.
Okay.
If well maintained, it could be a good place to live.
Okay.
And I think we should consider a tax cut of 5% or whatever number if the owner sells the property to the residents.
To the resident.
So they own their own land.
So they own the land,
Right.
not just the
unit.
unit.
So if they own and let me tell you what happens when that happens. Better drainage systems go in.
I have clients in that situation.
Yeah, people who live on, they put like speed bumps in, so they put slow down
Safety.
children at play. They put.
There's investment.
They invest.
Because they are invested in
Right.
Yeah.
So there was a manufactured housing community in Northfield, Minnesota. Nearly everyone who lived there was Spanish speaking. And the landlord was treating them really bad. And we had to, tell them we're going to sue you if you don't knock it off. And, we were able to get to a good place, a better place. But how great would it be if the people themselves owned the place? Yes. And what does the owner of the land want? Oh, they want to sell it and make money. Good, more money, 5% tax break for you. And
they're motivated to do that too.
Right. So that's one idea. That's just one little idea on housing that would improve the lives of people. The other issue is medical debt. I mean, quite honestly, medical debt is a serious problem. There are countries where there's no such thing as medical debt, like Canada and England. And several countries in the world, they don't have medical debt because they have universal single-payer health care. Well, we have it because our healthcare system is profit-driven. And so people are saddled with a lot of debt. My thought is, what if we were to, say, buy some of the debt, right? I mean, if you're a debt buyer, that's a whole industry. And some people their business is they go to people with a lot of bad debt, a lot of accounts receivable, and they say, I'll buy them from you, but I'm not buying them from you dollar for dollar. I'm buying them from you pennies on the dollar. So then they take those pennies on the dollar and then they go try to collect the whole dollar. And
those are collection companies.
Right, and that's an industry people have.
Yes.
I'm not blaming them. But the government could do that and just say, we're good. We're going to buy your $5,000 medical debt. We bought it for $50 or whatever, and we're just gonna call it good, or even we'll sell it to you what we bought it for, at cost.
At cost.
We could even do that. So this would relieve millions of dollars of medical debt that are sitting out there.
Especially medical, yeah.
Yeah, and medical debt is debt that people did not ask for.
No.
You didn't ask to fall off the roof while you're trying to fix it because you couldn't you couldn't afford to hire a repair person to do it. You didn't ask to get MS. You didn't ask to get cancer.
Yeah.
You didn't ask. All these things happened to you, and now you've got a big fat bill coming every month, driving up your stress. You were asking me about the nervous system. Let me tell you, one thing to wreck your nervous system is mail saying you owe me money that
bills.
you can't.
Yes, that you can't pay.
Right.
For sure.
And I can tell you, a few years ago, I tore my labrum and broke my shoulder. Had to have surgery. And then I tore my
the other shoulder?
rotator cuff. And I tore this one at Chorro Clarín in Parque RV, right outside of Medellin, Colombia. So it was a good trip. Then when I was rehabbing this one, I messed up this one. So I had a $6,000 bill, but I'm insured. So they should cover this. But they're still sending me this $6,000 bill. I'm like, why are you sending me this crazy bill? Why are you sending me this insane bill? Because I went back to the U.S. before I got my surgery, right? So why I got this crazy bill? So they say, oh, well, you should have gotten a approval from your primary care provider before you went in to get that surgery. I'm like, what are you talking about? Anyway, we write a letter. They say, okay, you only owe a lot less, a whole lot less. So, I mean, I'm like way less, So I'm like, cool, this is a bill that I was expecting. But what if you were not the Attorney General?
Right.
What if you
could write letters or knew how to advocate for yourself?
Right. What if you're dealing with another language? What if what if you're speaking Korean? What if you're speaking, I don't know, Hmong or Somali or, you know what I mean? Or Spanish? You may you just be afraid and nervous and just worry when they're going to come, And so what I'm saying is dealing with this medical debt issue is a very serious issue, and I think you could relieve a lot of stress, and you put people back into financial health. And I'll tell you what, there was a guy...
Which will, in turn, improve their health.
And so there was one little story connected to this. There's Mayor Melvin Carter went out and he bought and he canceled everybody's library fees, or he used money to buy library fees. And so now nobody had any library fees. You know what happened to library usage?
Went up.
Yeah. So if that's true for libraries, it's also true for healthcare. So if maybe I got a cough and it won't go away, and I don't know what it is.
But you'll resist going to the doctor if you know that's going to lead to...
Or if I already got a few medical bills out there. We made real progress on debt relief a few years ago. We made it so that you could not transfer medical debt from the spouse who just died to the living one. That's illegal. You can't do that. We made it so you cannot report medical debt to credit agencies. We made it so that you could not deny service to somebody who had an outstanding bill.
Because that used to be the case.
So we passed a law, can't do that anymore.
Is here in Minnesota.
But there's still more work to do. So we've made the rules better, but people still got the medical debt sitting on their shoulders. And we need people to go in early. We need you to go preventative. We need you to get tests so you can catch it early. So I don't want some woman saying, oh, I felt something funny here.
And then
but now she's like, but I can't afford to deal with it.
Right.
That's wrong.
We shouldn't, right?
It's wrong.
Yes.
It's cruel.
Yes.
And we don't have to do it. And when we're giving Elon Musk and Zuckerberg and Bezos massive tax breaks, I think we got enough money to help ordinary people.
So this brings me to my last question, Keith, that I wanted to touch, and that is you're seeking a third re-election.
Yep.
Yes. So tell us about what motivates you to still, do this work and to still want to represent people and be back in the fight.
Well, it's funny because somebody said to me, I said, Keith, you've done 2 terms. This is your chance to go make some money.
Yeah.
I said, but you know what? We're in the middle of an authoritarian dictator. We're in the middle of a tyrant where I am not just going to sit around and let people suffer. I'm going to stand up and defend people and help sure that they can afford their lives and they live with dignity and they have their rights protected. So I am running for re-election. To me, what motivates me is just a burning passion to serve people and to see justice and fairness prevail. And I think we can get there. but we need people to step up and do it. And I'm not the kind of person, I wasn't raised to be the kind of person to say, well, maybe somebody else will do it. I have to do it. I have to do my part to do it.
So that's why you're seeking a third term.
Yes.
Well, good luck.
Thank you,
to
ma'am.
you, and in this moment, and I commend the work that you are doing, and hope that you continue to have energy,
Ojalá.
a well-balanced nervous system, health, everything to continue to do that. Keith, it's been a tremendous pleasure to have this conversation with you. An honor that you have chosen and were trusting enough to be able to have this conversation with me. I thank you, and I guess I will leave a final message that you may want to share with our audience before we come to closure.
We're here to help. Give us a call at 651-296-3353 and let us know how we can help you with problems with a landlord, problems with a scam or a ripoff, problems with a medical bill, problems with wages. It is our job to be your consumer justice advocate, and that is what the AG's office is here to do. So,
excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Y con ustedes será hasta un próximo programa de Historias y Huellas. Me despido con mucho cariño. Ana Mariela Rivera. Hasta un próximo programa.